Hey, we're testing new audio equipment today, so bear with us.
Fame will not be seen at this time, but is being desperately sought after by each member of our cast. Who do they think they are?
Hey everybody, what's up and welcome back to Macabre'Gorium Labs presents a showcase of things likely forgotten, Nickelodeon edition. My name is Bats and I hope you'll join me on today's exciting topic, Legends of the Hidden Temple. Can you escape with the loot? Nickelodeon! Once again, we're heading back to Nickelodeon in the 1990s because, as we all know, it was the raddest place to be. Amid many successful game shows for kids, Nickelodeon would produce Legends of the Hidden Temple. Created by David Stanley, Scott Stone, and Stephen Brown, this popular show would originally run from September 11th, 1993 through November 24th, 1995. In addition to creating the show, David Stanley and Scott Stone would also compose the music for the show, credited as the Music Machine. The show would be produced by Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida, in association with Stone Stanley Productions. There would be 120 episodes covered over its 3 seasons, with each episode running approximately 22 minutes. Season 1 would be directed by Charles Cupp, with seasons 2 and 3 being directed by Glenn Weiss. Now, because this was a game show, we're not going to cover every episode, as each one is essentially the same thing with different contestants. Originally, Legends of the Hidden Temple would air at 6:30 p.m., where it immediately became popular. With all the success, Nickelodeon made a smart move and started airing the show during weekdays. Starting Friday, February 14th, 1994, you could watch at 5:30 p.m., which was a great way to end the week. Now, of course, with a name like Legends of the Hidden Temple, the set would obviously feature a Mayan temple that would contain lost loot protected by temple guards. The temple would also contain the one and only Olmec, the animatronic talking stone head that knew the legend for that day and information about the main artifact for that episode. Olmec would be the only one that knows the secrets behind each of the treasures in his temple, and you damn well better be ready to play Olmec's game. Kirk Fogg would be the host of this iconic show, while in a dual role, D. Bradley Baker would voice Olmec and the announcer. The show would feature 6 teams of 2 kids, each with jungle-themed animal names such as the Red Jaguars, the Blue Barracudas, the Green Monkeys, the Orange Iguanas, the Purple Parrots, and the Silver Snakes. The teams would compete by answering questions about history, geography, or mythology, in addition to physical stunts in order to obtain a historical artifact in the temple. On a side note, most of the kids that were on this show were found in the Florida area, since that's where the show was filmed. The kids did have an audition of sorts, though, as they were tested on their speed, agility, and physical fitness, in addition to completing knowledge tests and personal interviews. The producers wanted to make sure that the kids on the show would be able to handle the rigorous pace of the competition while also being interesting for the audience. Our research also found that unless there was a special event, the producers tried to pair kids together on teams where they did not know each other. Not to mention, I'm sure working with somebody that you just met would also add quite a bit of pressure. But kids of the 1990s were quite resilient, so they took the added pressure and challenged themselves to win. These kids were awesome in every episode, and there would be a team or 2 that you were always rooting for to get the win.
Now, we do have to note that there were a few times that the teams actually did know each other, or were from the same place at least.
And now that we've checked out the contestants, let's look into what made this show such an awesome time.
Legends of the Hidden Temple will be right back on Nick.
Hey kids, do you have a sense of adventure? Do you fancy yourself an Indiana Jones type? Maybe a Nathan Drake.
What am I doing?
Maybe you think of yourself as the Tomb Raider. Well, come on down to Legends of the Hidden Temple. After engaging in some physical challenges and answering some history-adjacent questions, You'll be treated to the Temple Run, where you will endure a fast escape under a highly pressured time limit. You'll avoid temple guards and look for treasures, all in an effort to get to the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, a 3-piece puzzle that most people find impossible to put together. So come on down to Legends of the Hidden Temple, and when you get there, tell them Olmec sent you. Legends of the Hidden Temple was a show from the 1990s and can no longer currently be accessed. It also does not guarantee the safety of your children, as they will probably definitely be eaten by jungle animals or abducted by jungle guards and used as cannibal meat. In short, Olmec does not guarantee the safety of your children, and in fact, you probably shouldn't be here. There was a lot of vomit on this set.
And now back to Legends of the Hidden Temple, only on Nickelodeon.
Like most game shows, there were several rounds played leading up to the final challenge. Each round would eliminate 2 teams until there was only one remaining team, and that team would get to go on to the final challenge. These rounds would take place in several areas: the Moat, the Steps of Knowledge, the Temple Games, and finally the Temple Run. The first round would consist of the Moat, which was a narrow pool that the 6 teams would have to cross using various methods. Both team members would need to reach the other side and hit the gong using rafts, ropes, or floating rings, and this would see our first 4 teams advancing to the next level. Next, our teams would advance to the Steps of Knowledge. Sounds like my kind of place. At this stage, Olmec would tell the teams a legend about that day's artifact. The steps had an ancient marker for the teams to stomp on as they answered questions about the legend. Each time a correct answer was given, that team would move down 1 stair level, and the first 2 teams to reach the bottom would move on to the third round and continue their journey. The final 2 teams would then compete in the third round, the Temple Games. This would consist of 3 physical challenges where they would have a chance to earn the Pendants of Life.
The Pendants of Life themselves were hand-sized golden medallions with Olmec on the front that worked like extra lives in a video game.
The first 2 physical challenges would see 1 member of each team trying to get half a pendant each. The third challenge would have both team members working together to win another full pendant. Now, if a team could get both pendants within the Temple Games, it could really make the Temple Run a heck of a lot easier, but it didn't necessarily guarantee a win. Whatever team had the most pendants at the end of the round would continue to the big final, the Temple Run. The Temple Run was a 12-room obstacle course with 15 different layouts where the last team would need to find the artifact and then escape the temple before time ran out. Sounds fairly simple, right? No, nothing's ever that simple. While attempting to locate the artifact in a 3-minute time frame, the final team would also need to avoid the temple guards, as somewhere within the temple they would be hidden in 3 random rooms. When a player would enter one of these rooms, they would be caught and hand over a pendant to the guard to continue their search. However, if the player didn't have a pendant, they would be immediately removed from the temple and the other player would start their run. If the second player got caught and didn't have a pendant, they would also be eliminated and the team would lose the temple run and therefore the game. There was an additional rule for the pendants though, and this rule could actually help the players. It was called the half pendant rule. If a team entered the temple with 1.5 pendants, there would be a half pendant hidden somewhere inside that players could find. The player carrying the half pendant could find another half pendant somewhere in the temple for another extra life. With the 15 different layouts for the temple, there would be a ton of different rooms. 45 in total. At the start of each run, Olmec would describe the temple and often give advice on how to get through each room, and would sometimes even tell the players which room the artifact was in. Upon entering the temple, a player would find interconnected rooms that would require players to solve puzzles or complete physical tasks to unlock the next door and move on. This could sometimes be simple, like pulling a lever or finding a key, but some of the rooms could be more difficult to figure out, and the time limit added a lot more pressure. Some of the rooms the player would need to navigate are the Throne Room, King's Storeroom, the Heart's Room, Medusa's Lair, the Pit of Despair, and the Room of the Secret Password. However, there is this one room that would be featured in every episode and every layout, the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. This particular room consisted of players having to find 3 pieces of a monkey statue that they have to put together in order to unlock the room. Now, for some reason, a lot of the contestants had one hell of a time trying to put these 3 pieces together. I'm sure you can attribute it to the time limit. Again, this room would turn out to be a lot of trouble, because if you don't put the statue together correctly, the door won't unlock. While it seems like an easy task, when you add the time pressure, players would often have issues completing it. And out of the 120 episodes, the Shrine of the Silver Monkey Room was only ever successfully completed 64 times. Just a little over half. As previously discussed, a player would have to leave the temple after being caught by a temple guard if they didn't have a pendant. When that happened, the doors they passed through stayed open for the next player's run to try to get the artifact, which was helpful. Also, once you retrieve the artifact, all remaining temple guards disappear and all the doors unlock so you can make a quick escape. There were several prizes you could win on this show. The team that enters the temple got a participation prize, usually consisting of clothing and accessories or food products. The team that is able to touch the artifact would get a secondary prize consisting of a handheld gaming system, audio equipment, mountain bikes, or remote-controlled cars. Now, the team that actually grabbed the artifact and was able to escape the temple within the time limit would receive both of the other prizes and the grand prize. The grand prize would consist of trips to Universal Studios Florida, Busch Gardens, the Caribbean, Mexico, or a week stay at NASA's Space Camp. And let me tell you, these kids really worked for their prizes. They earned them. Now, you would think that out of 120 episodes, there would be a lot of winners, but surprisingly, our research shows the game was only won 32 times. This is because simply assembling the Shrine of the Silver Monkey does not necessarily gain you a win. You still have to escape, which means that out of 120 episodes, only 32 times will the teams manage to escape. The Green Monkeys and the Silver Snakes won 8 times each. The Blue Barracudas won 5 times, the Orange Iguanas won 4 times, the Red Jaguars won 4 times, and the Purple Parrots won 3 times. As fun and cool as this show is, it would be canceled after Season 3 due to high production costs and declining viewership. But that wouldn't be the end of Legends of the Hidden Temple. Not yet. This wouldn't mark the end of Legends of the Hidden Temple, though, as on November 26, 2016, a Nickelodeon made-for-TV movie would be released. Now, we're not going to get into the movie for this showcase, but as you know, if that's something you wanted us to talk about, let us know in the comments section below. But that still wouldn't mark the end of this iconic show. On October 10th, 2021, the CW network would come out with an updated version, although on the original game there were a lot of differences. And when I say a lot of differences, you can trust me when I say none of them were good. The first major change is the contestants would be adults instead of kids.
There are so many things wrong with that statement, I don't even know where to begin.
Now you know what we're getting into. There would be 4 teams at the start, and the overall set design, while jungle-themed, and the redesigned temple only had 11 rooms, but it did increase the temple runtime from 3 to 4 minutes. Because adults are slower, I guess? I'm not a fan of this one.
I am just going to give you the slow, sad head shake of disapproval.
Of course, some things were brought back, such as the names of the teams, the pendants of life, and the mysterious temple guards. Only this time around, Cristela Alonso would be the new host, but D. Bradley Baker would return as the voice of the iconic Olmec, which is pretty freaking cool. However, the reboot was not well received by audiences, and it received a lot of mixed reviews. Turns out those member berries can get a little bitter, can't they? Make something new. Our research shows that some people didn't really like that the show featured adults instead of kids. I rest my case. But some people appreciated the nostalgia factor, and for those people, I'll do this for you.
But they're awful! It's another sequel to a reboot of a remake that was originally based on a toy that, by the way, was based on another toy.
Either way, the show would be canceled on January 23rd, 2022 after only 1 season consisting of 13 episodes, with each episode lasting a runtime of 42 minutes. Which is about 43 minutes longer than I think it actually deserved. And while Goats did write into the script that you can ask us to cover this down the line, don't bother. We're not going to. Sorry. With the popularity of the game, there would be a ton of merchandise made. In 2017, Pressman released the Legends of the Hidden Temple board game, and it was only sold in stores until 2018, but you can find it online at usual sites like eBay and Walmart, starting as low as $10. We actually have a copy of this, but it turns out you need at least 6 people to play it, and we don't have that many people in our friend circle. We also found there's an online browser video game called Legends of the Hidden Temple Unlock the Past that is available for free on ToonGo. This game is based on the TV movie, however you do navigate the temple, avoid temple guards, and solve puzzles. This show was so iconic it would even be referenced in more modern cartoons such as The Loud House. On November 11, 2017, the Season 2, Episode 22A of The Loud House would be called Legends. In this episode, Lincoln and his dad discover they both really love the show, and somehow they get to go on it as the Orange Iguanas, but they lose. However, they were just happy about the father-son time they had together, and this episode has been officially recognized as an actual crossover episode and not just one inspired by the show. And Hey Arnold! On November 24th, 2017, the Hey Arnold Jungle movie premiered, and it would have the kids going to a lost city to find Arnold's parents facing many obstacles in temple ruins. More like loosely based, influenced by. Here in 2026, you can still find a ton of other merchandise from this show, such as socks, pendants, t-shirts for each team type, hats, glasses, mugs, the Silver Monkey Shrine itself, stickers, and hoodies, and that is just to name an extremely few of these items. Almost all of these can be found across many sites like eBay, Etsy, Hot Topic, and the Paramount Shop, and even Amazon. Some items are really affordable for the fans, but some are way more expensive, such as the Silver Monkey Shrine, which will cost you over $200 on eBay. Goat, you know we gotta get one of those to go with our piece of the aggro crag, right? But anyway, I remember when this show first premiered on Nickelodeon, and at first it was a really cool and innovative idea, and it was really fun to watch. But, just like we said, it got old kinda quick because each episode was the same and all of the kids, most of them never even made it. I guess kinda making it a waste of time. A fun waste of time, but a waste of time nonetheless. Most of us didn't really want to watch it so much as we dreamt about being on it. But now you know what I think, I've just gotta ask. Did you ever watch the original Legends of the Hidden Temple or any of its other iterations? If so, what was your favorite part, segment, room, or iteration? If not, what was your favorite childhood snack, toy, show, movie, or other memory? Did we forget anything, get something wrong, or leave something out? Do you have a suggestion for a future video, or maybe just want to drop in and say hello? Either way, feel free to head on down to the comment section because, as usual, most of the time, we look forward to hearing from you. And with that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of another Macabre'Gorium Labs showcase of things likely forgotten, Nickelodeon edition. I've been your host, Bats, and I hope you had a good time today as we took a look at this really interesting topic with Legends of the Hidden Temple. Can you escape with the loot? Be sure to check back next time when we'll be trying this with a lapel mic, and as usual, think for yourselves, be excellent to each other, and keep it creepy. I'm gonna go check out what's in this cave. Oh no! Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. You guys rule. This is our first time using this microphone, so we hope it sounded okay, and next time we're going to try the lapel mic. We're still trying to work out some kinks in the system. Huge shout out to our patrons: Manic Goats, Corey Backus, Boss Mike, Woodstock, Joshua R., Matt H., Viking Woman, and Bill. You guys are frickin' rad. Thanks for all your support. Check out some of our stuff on Patreon or watch one of our other videos linked right here. We'll see you in the next one. Keep it creepy.